marketing is always good if you make it actionable.
For creative people, how do we really work with data while also not polluting creativity?
EdTech platforms who don't even need marketing. उन्होंने अपना channel बना दिया YouTube पे. In the student community, they're so popular, there is no paid media activation. The media plan becomes so nuanced that maybe an AdWords will not cut it.
Often people feel MarTech is this expensive thing. Is that true?
MarTech is equal to media buying, or MarTech is equal to a web analytics tool, MarTech is equal to CRM, or is it like a customer care or a management tool, or what is it?
Hey there, welcome to Marketing Mavericks with Indiefolio. Today we have Smita Salgaonkar with us, who's the principal architect of MarTech at Google. Smita's had an incredible career and she really unpacks her younger years for us. We talk about being curious, what you should do as a young marketer to really understand what you love. And then we talk a lot about MarTech, advice for young startups, agency owners, and being a good client as well. Thanks a lot for your time, Smita, and welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Kavan. Very interesting segment, I would say, and I'm equally excited to be here.
Superb. I think you're working in a company which a lot of people dream of working at, right? I also was asked many times by random people in school and college, where would you like to work in? Google would be top 3 for most people. So I want to start there first. Why don't you tell a little bit about what your current role is at Google and how you're helping the company and your stakeholders?
Sure. So my role at Google is to be the principal architect for Google Cloud, and my remit is MarTech. So I think in the last couple of years that we've been, working in marketing as a function, we've seen a lot of role of tech emerging. Marketing always had some or the other product which was related to tech. Since the time the entire emphasis has moved to digital. And I think if we take a look at typical Lumascape itself, more than 11,000, I think more than that. That's also a dated image that we go by, but it gives us a good view of how complex the entire ecosystem is,
right?
And how each and every tech now has become incremental to each other. And there is, like, if we go and observe like a MarTech stack, if we have to put for a client or for ourselves as brand, how complex it could become. So my remit is to bring empathy to the MarTech conversation, because Google typically, we play in multiple areas of marketing. So we have, of course, our publisher assets, or the ones where we host the customer or consumer. YouTube is one such asset. Google Ads, of course, has given an avenue for brands to connect with users who are searching for information and position themselves. We've also had Google Analytics and the GMP suite of products that exist, typically for more of like advertisers' convenience of, bringing some bit of automation to that media plan, or designing innovatively how they can go ahead and buy media. And then moving on to it, I think the recent entry in the conversations that we're having is around cloud. So Google, of course, has always, all these products are based on cloud. But then we're going out there, we are close to 7 years old company in terms of our proposition to the market as well. And as a challenger brand, we're trying to position ourselves as to where can we take the cloud narrative, which is on the 7 core products that we have, to even marketers, so that they understand, because the conversations on marketing are no longer just on creative. It's basically understanding the consumer and trying to see where does tech play a role in terms of being an enabler to have a conversation with them or create the interruptions or interventions for interaction. So that's what I'm trying to do. So what we call as a one Google play, which is a one Google play between ads and cloud, which is patched by MarTech. That's what I try and bring.
Fantastic. I think, we'll talk about your entire journey in some time. And I feel, at least from what I look at it, it's such a great convergence of whatever you've been doing, for a while. But before all of that, I want to kind of go back to college days, right? I believe you were in Ruia. And if I'm not wrong, you did BSc in physics, right? So let's start there, right? I mean, we spoke about where you are today, but if you kind of trace back to your college days, it doesn't seem like traditionally what a marketer would want to do, right? So tell us about why did you pick that as a focus area to study, and how did the transition really happen?
I think it rolls back like there's no connection between what I'm doing today versus what I studied. And I think this is a conundrum most of the folks who are maybe mid to late millennials or even the whole millennial
Correct.
segment has, right? We would go by, if we were studying, we were given only two options. Ya to engineering kar lo, ya doctor ban jao, right? I was one of those outliers where I didn't want to do either. I wanted to do arts. I wanted to get into history majorly. But then, unfortunately for me, unfortunately for my parents, I was good at studies and I would score really, really high, and arts was not given as an option to me. I was made to sit in every engineering exam out there. And I had also cleared AIEEE with good scores and all that. And I said, I don't want to, because what my perception back then, and I come from a tier 2 market. For us, counseling, career counseling as a tool wasn't available.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the notion that either tum engineer ban jao ya doctor ban jao.
Right.
ये दो ही है, और precedences of like students having done well either move into one or the other were higher as compared to any other stream.
Mm-hmm.
So I told my parents I was also interested in sports. I wanted to see if I can build a career in sports. So I told them अगर मैं engineering कर लूँ तो मैं ये सब नहीं कर पाऊंगी. So is there something else that I can do? I was a very hyperactive child. So it was more like a challenge to my parents, saying that I'll do something equivalent and then I can do, say, MSc in physics and do something which will be equivalent to engineering. I gave them some math.
Right.
And I'll say my sales skills were really good, that they got convinced by my story, not necessarily by my score after that. But yeah, that's how I landed up in Ruya. And Ruya was like, I used to be in NCC when I was much younger. And I had met a lot of people when we used to go for these camps.
Mm-hmm.
I just found the girls who used to be, the ladies used to come from Ruya, so inspiring. Like they were already out there, very outspoken. Then it really, really helped me think that this is one place where I want to be.
Right.
So sounds like it's a child's dream, You get influenced by little things and information that you get. And like I said, tier 2 market exposure to this was very different. I don't know, people who are listening to this will find it like ye kaun se gaon mein thi jahan information nahi milta tha. But this is where this is the time where mobile phones weren't as accessible.
Correct.
Right? So finding information was very difficult. And finding exposure was even more so difficult for us.
Mm-hmm.
So only these camps will bring us exposure to different schools that existed in Bombay and colleges that were there. And Ruya was actually one of the good ones. Mm-hmm. So I thought that yahan kar lete hain, and we'll figure what we want to do ahead.
So what was your decision-making framework to be like, I want to now stop this and do something else, right? Because that's where people fail, thinking I'll get left behind, because if I do HR for 7 more years, I'll be a HR head and I'll get more money. So why should I do something else completely in sales or in MarTech from scratch? I'll be at zero. Right. So if you could kind of unpack your decision-making framework on when to quit or when to move, I would say.
Very good question. Even I'd never thought of it. Okay. But I can maybe track back a little bit and try and give you when I made my switches. Mm-hmm. People group was, as I started talking to these people, it made me really get excited about what they were doing. And my job became like, theek hai, matlab, it's just the same thing, but with more efficiency. I wanted newer skills. And I just felt that the skill sets that I bring, with a little nudge, I can do so much more. थोड़ा और enabler मिल जाए, थोड़ा और कोई बता दे. And I give, I think, 100% of the credit to the network that I've formed. Mm-hmm. I have really great set of people who've taken me under their wing or have taken interest in the hunger that I had, and they just had to do like little nudge. यहाँ देख ले, इसके बारे में पढ़ ले. That curiosity actually got me to think that what perhaps could be the logical next step. The people group thing was very natural. I'm working for an internet company. I don't need to be in this role. I need to be in something that makes money, and that really excited me. Actually, back then, what I did is, especially with the vast line of businesses in Mobango, I came across Google Analytics and I wanted to understand कि इसमें revenue बनता है, आप लोग कैसे देखते हो, analytics का क्या role है. Then someone had assigned a task to me saying that आप जाओ YouTube पे अपना channel बनाओ, and you'll still find it. Like I've got my really old cats video, बहुत छोटा सा जब था तभी. I've run it as as an ad, and I've also run ads on it. Just to see how both sides work. And that really gave me some insight. I said, अच्छा ये ad monetization होता है, ऐसे publisher काम करता है and all that. So I did like my own tests. Free version of analytics पे एक छोटा सा website बना के कुछ लगा दिया just to see what all features exist and all of that. And this is all I did because now I was so optimized at my work that I had a couple of hours to go ahead and learn these things. And I had people who would guide and tell. We have a lot of courses available now, which are great starting point for that. But mine was all, थोड़ा curiosity led. तुम curious हो तो तुम्हारे पास questions आएंगे जिससे तुम समझ पाओगे. कोई और कुछ ऐसा stagnated content pass करेगा, it will take time to stick. And mine is all
it's a way to learn. I mean, I'm somebody who learned a lot of softwares when I was freelancing, and one thing I always hear from my friends is, how do you know all these random things? And I always say that, like, if you're curious, just learn something about it that time only. Because, you've learned geography, may something what's happening in some continent. You don't remember that because you were told 5:30 or 9:30 a.m. every Wednesday you will learn this. Kuch samajh nahi aaya. You only learn when, you're like, it seems interesting. And you yourself just do something about it, right? And I kind of take a lot of that from you as to, if you want to do something, just do it. Then you will learn. The courses will help, but it's very hard कि मैं 2 महीने बाद वो course करूँगा, मैं expert बन जाऊँगा. Not really. That's not how it's going to work.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that helped me make those decisions was also, like I said, ये हो गया है, the hunger that I can do a little bit more. And then identifying with that curiosity what next could be. So I'm, of course, I keep following the information news, where the industry is going and all that. That gives you a little direction. But again, you also have to make choices.
Right.
As to, like, I'm very specific now from the first experience of being a PA at some random magazine editor,
right,
to then choosing कि brand के साथ ही काम करना है.
Correct. Absolutely.
And then that's how you circle down.
Yeah.
कि किसके साथ काम करना है.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you said, the more movement you'll do and the more people you'll speak with, the more you'll realize maybe where the money is, where the power is, where the excitement is, depending on who you are. Then you can kind of shape yourself to that particular area. I think you kind of really mentioned something which was a segue to my next question, right? Which is, at the fundamental level, obviously marketing is about understanding the consumer. But if I am just starting out, or if I'm maybe not very much aware, it sounds like a word salad. Whenever somebody explains what they do in MarTech, they're like, okay, kind of, you run ads or what? And then people are like, no, it's very limiting. You, for example, have managed like a huge budget at Unilever, for Unilever rather. But I also wanted to take this opportunity for you to simplify MarTech, maybe let's say for a startup. Because often people feel MarTech is this expensive thing. Is that true? Or can I do marketing? Can I implement MarTech very frugally as a young company? And what does that look like?
Right. This is where I talk about modularity. I think that's what marketing and technology brings to marketing today, right? So whenever I look at that Lumascape and the confusion it poses into the market, and then trying to look at actually how much of it is available in the local market itself and to do what jobs. And like you rightly said, MarTech is equal to media buying, or MarTech is equal to a web analytics tool, MarTech is equal to CRM, or is it like a customer care or a management tool, or what is it? So every business, first of all, needs to understand that in terms of their lifespan, where are they? Like, are they starting off business? Are they, someone who's like an SMB versus an enterprise, like a large scale conglomerate enterprise? Because this solution suite to all of these is going to look very different. The investment they want to make into the market itself. So for someone who's, can you do it really, really frugally? Yes, you can.
Let's say, take an example, sorry to cut you, of a CPG brand. Let's say I'm not Unilever, but I'm a young CPG company, 1 saal hua hai, and I have a product which I think I can sell through digital. So
Right.
if you can kind of take that as an example.
Sure. So if it's a CPG brand with a D2C endpoint to it, so in that case, you have simplistically what you need is for your acquisition, what tool sets are you going to get in? So first is your ad buying platforms or the ad tech suite itself. More or less in India, it's divided between two large platforms, which is Google and Meta. And that's where your 95% of requirements are done, right? Then comes in the users who are coming onto your web interfaces, be it a web application or an app. You will need an analytics heart to it for you to know how the consumer is straddling across the product, the journey that they are creating. Where are they going in terms of products? How much information are they consuming as well, right? Typically for CPG who has, distributor as an endpoint, you can stop at analytics. Then what you need is basically sales level data coming to you. That's where you will try and make that heart. Like then you will create a lake where you have different kind of data sources that you can put in over here as well to work with your media level data and analytics level data. But when you have a D2C interface, you have so much hold and control on trying to understand that customer journey. This is where you can try and look for, say, you have your CRM data that helps you capture what sort of transactions happen, what sort of sales happen, which products did they show interest in, how often do they come, what's the repeat usage like, what the lifetime value of that consumer is. But besides that, now you also need to understand, I have gathered all this information, but if I have to create that, what we call recirculation, because the brand is not just about one-time communication, you also have to ensure that you attain that reach and frequency metric on month basis. Right. So for you to do that, there's a very important angle of marketing automation that needs to come in for you to take a decision on which channel of activation should I use next. Because the CDP concepts that we talk about, which is building an entire hub of information of users who you're prospecting to versus the ones you've reached out to and engaged them versus the one who've become your customers to the ones who have become maybe advocate of your product. There's also an entire, decision-making framework that you need to put together.
Yeah.
An analytics engine that will keep informing. So I always say marketing is always good if you make it actionable.
Correct.
You need to ensure that all of this data point actually needs to sit in a heart that informs you. I think with AI now, there are enough and more use cases that you can form.
Right.
Not just try and understand which user will now go ahead and will have affinity to which channel to respond back to you. Right? A marketing automation tool will basically help bring the capability of activating a communication to the user or a segment that you've created with that personalized approach on whichever channel that they prefer or they will interact better. So there's a lot of predictive analytics that you can apply on top of it that will help you decide that. So typically your ad tech platform, a web analytics platform, a CRM tool, a marketing automation tool, and a data and analytics hub. That should be, at least this should be your base minimum that you form. Unfortunately, it's not as simple as it sounds, because each one of the tool that will come to you, a marketing analytics tool will try to position itself as something who's sarva gun sampann. Like it'll say, I can be your CDP, I can be your, you plug in your CRM data and I can do all the job as well.
Right.
Technically, if I'm a starter brand and I'm in year 1, I'm working with no data.
Yeah.
My focus is going to be on user acquisition.
Correct.
My most important channel over there is going to be my investments need to go into my ad tech platforms. And also into understanding where is it that I'm going to find my users. So my marketing budget, I will actually disproportionately try and lean onto my ad tech platform and media choices. And because it's D2C, you'll of course have your foundational analytics tool and CRM already put into place. Your marketing analytics tool is something that you will, so this is base foundation, your web analytics and CRM. If I have to move between the starting where I make the first interaction versus then decide on actionable. So first let me create that reach before I go into a marketing automation tool. Unfortunately, you will never find, there's no uniquely just one platform feature that you'll get. There are very few such that you'll get. If you observe GMP suite of platforms also, for a starter brand, AdWords is enough. You can do it gives you access to GDN as well. It gives you access to YouTube too. So that's large enough publisher inventory for you to actually do your acquisition campaigns to it. It gives you performance ad units for you to go ahead and do performance marketing as well. But as you become a large brand, that same CPG client now has, say, 50 different brands under it and has been operational to 5 years. Your reach and frequency, mutual exclusive campaigns, trying to hit a particular audience segment, your media plan becomes so nuanced that maybe an AdWords will not cut it. You need more enterprise-ready media planner that supports your ambitions, because it doesn't stop right there. It's also about the starts and stops and how universal capping will work and how will you ensure reach and frequency metrics and the curves that you can draw out of it. And then go and map it to your sales data to show that your marketing budgets have had an impact on the sales and uplifts and uptakes. Right? So it's a very, very nuanced decision-making framework. Besides that, I think it doesn't stop just at technology recruitment. There has to be a process and people metric to it. What processes are you introducing to all of these junctures? Like, how often will you look at web analytics? How often will you look at sales data? And no CPG client just exclusively sells on D2C. Right. They will also have distributors where there will be a delay in how often do they pass back data to you. Correct. So how you're measuring efficiency, that becomes part of your process. Right? So I think for a marketer, more than trying to get locked into technology today, because there is no, marketing is always evolving. Yeah. So you can't fix yourself to your decisions that you've taken today. You also need to be a little more agile or, nimble. Right. To try and think little forward. Is it doing the job for me? And also craft out what next is coming up. Is it creating more visibility? Can that data, that point of sale was really delaying, can it be accelerated? Are there new things that are emerging out of that? Because all of that gets added to your MarTech stack, more or less. It just doesn't limit yourself to this. And like I said, it's all modular. Right. Any business which is starting off today, there's enough and more edtech platforms who don't even need marketing. उन्होंने अपना channel बना दिया YouTube पे. Correct. In the student community, they're so popular, there is no paid media activation. Yeah. Right? All they need is publisher set तो already है, acquisition तो word of mouth से हो रहा है, and experience led, पूरा product based पे. Right? All they need is a very strong analytics base. They need to have assistants created for each user. Personalization over there is in that form. Right? And then you need a very robust CRM engine. Correct. I think you've did a great job of kind of introducing the whole concept of MarTech and the levers, how it looks like for a young company who has to first focus on customers and data, and then how it kind of expands with more channels and more audiences and more brands, more SKUs, etc. So I think thanks for that. It's a good, mini masterclass for anybody who wants to get an understanding of MarTech.
I want to now jump into the last part of the podcast, right? And usually we ask questions from on behalf of the creative network, we have, which, Indiefolio organizes. We are home to hundreds of creative founders, lots of independent professionals, creative professionals. And this is essentially across creative. We make videos, animations, photography, videography, blah, blah. Now, one big critique, right, we have for MarTech folks as creative people is how much data, will you look at to understand will this work or not for the customer? Because, generally advertising is supposed to be very creative, but because of, data-driven decisions, it sometimes feels that creativity is kind of going away. I have clients who've told me these days, just give me 5 creators, we'll see what the platform tells me works. It doesn't really matter ki tere ko kya lagta hai as a creative person. But we continue to see that the ones which actually work are actually really creative. Even data sometimes tells us that. So what's your opinion here, right, for creative people, right? How do we really work with data, but also not polluting creativity?
Right. So I'll tell you, MarTech Creative is actually a big partner to MarTech. That's how I see it, because MarTech, I think one of the roles of MarTech is to condense that data that the consumer is leaving for you as breadcrumbs across all of these journeys, right? I think in all of this phase, there is no point in over-indexing on any just one chunk. Like you can't over-index on media and efficiency and just think that it will do the job for you. There has to be this balance that you go ahead and strike. I think even with AI, that's what the question is as well. Like how much reliance should we do on AI too? My personal opinion. I don't think creative guys should. There has to be a little bit of love for data of what the user interaction is leaving for you. I don't feel it should suppress the creativity part entirely either. I've worked with brands who have been in the market for hundreds of years as well. And I'll tell you my personal feedback. I don't remember any new brands that I see on television or through my interactions with them. But I remember all the older ones. या तो एक फैक्टर है कि वो इतना एंटरटेनिंग हुआ करता था that you remember those ads. Even though it was just one ad run for everyone through one channel, it was so focused and condensed that it's left that memory structure that marketing keeps talking about, right? On the other hand, we live in such a cluttered media ecosystem. It's so overstimulating. I think the new reports that have come in, the McKinsey reports, which were launched just in Jan, they say that every advertiser for every campaign where we were leading with, say, one creative version, one video, now we need to expand that to 10x the volumes of the videos that we're using to pass through the clutter, declutter and pass your communication through. Then I'm thinking कि एक ही user को इतना सारा information bombard करके, how are you going to work through it? That's the job perhaps data can't do for you.
Right.
The decluttering and the creativity spark that every ad needs to have. It will of course tell you other dimensions. That what demography does a user live in. Typical brand persona that we go ahead and craft. A marketer constantly is trying to understand, are we hitting that persona?
Right.
या कोई और business लाके दे रहा है.
Right.
With digital, we are constantly trying to do planned versus delivered. If this is the planned persona, are we really hitting that persona or no?
Correct.
The role of data over there and MarTech platforms and everything is to help connect to that story. How far are we, or what's the hit and miss like, right? In terms of even if it's a new segment that we're reaching and those are the ones who are getting associated with the brand, that's where the creative angle comes in. It is to either course correct, drive relevancy to the core audience that we had designed.
Yeah.
A lot of things. So I wouldn't say कि MarTech bada ya creativity bada. There has to be modulation in both, and both need to work with each other. Correct. Creative folks need to love data. MarTech needs to respect creativity.
Thank you for summing that up so well for us. I hope you had a good time on the podcast.
I did. This was very interesting.
Superb, superb. Thank you so much for joining in, and for everybody who's tuned in. If you'd like to hear another marketing leader soon, please like, share, and subscribe. And a new episode will come out very soon. Bye bye.